Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you for returning and thank you for being here again. Okay guys, I've changed my mind. I'm not going to make a big sing-song about Meghan's Harper's bizarre photographs, except to say that most of them are darn awful, and the one they chose for the cover is the second worst of them all. For me, the most awful of them all is the one in the white outfit, slumped in a chair with her legs wide open. It is horrific, awful, uncouth, low class, trashy. Anyway, moving on. Okay, I had a few requests, so I'm going to deal with those today. But before I do, I want to tell you a piece of gossip I heard, and which I alluded to yesterday. And also the reason why I'm so curious about whose house Meghan was staying in New York. And it was fairly clear that Harry wasn't staying with her. Or, alternatively, he had already returned to Montecito. Now, I'm told by a fairly reliable source that Harry is in severe conflict with himself because, first and foremost, he no longer trusts Meghan, and not in the way we think. There is a lot not to trust with all her lying, but someone overheard a snippet of an argument, and this someone told her butcher, her baker, and her candlestick maker, okay? Allegedly, Harry shouted at Meghan, "Well, if you stop opening your legs for everyone." Yes, allegedly, Meghan's had a few liaisons. Some Harry thinks he knows about, and some he definitely does not know about. But he got a whiff that something is not 100% kosher. According to this person, Harry has confided in a friend of sorts that Meghan is not putting it out for him anymore, or at least not often enough. Likely because she has some other bedfellows, or so he suspects. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go into this much further, not now at least. I was given a name or two, but I would rather take my time and do as much as I can find in terms of confirmation, or not, before I delve into this much further. I would prefer to stay away from a lawsuit if you don't mind. Okay, now I had another request, well, more than one, to listen to H.G. Tudor's last lot of videos and comment on them. Well, I started to listen, but after two of them I could not keep my eyes open, so I'll continue watching today, and then I'll get back to you over the weekend or at the latest Monday. I did watch the video of the royal family extracting Harry from Montecito. I think that one may be a bit of a stretch. I sincerely do not think that would happen unless Harry is in deep, deep, deep trouble. It would be, or it could be, an alternative plan, second or third or fourth to something else. But let me watch the rest of the videos before I comment again. But we are going to continue talking about Harry because I had another request to talk about a tweet from a veteran by the name of Edward Fortescue, if that is his real name. The post reads, "The wounded veterans of Invictus are done, utterly and irreparably done, with Harry and that fame-hungry parasite he married. They've seen war, they faced death, they dragged their broken bodies through fire and blood, and now they are expected to play supporting roles in the grotesque theatre of two narcissists desperate for applause. Meghan Markle is not a humanitarian, she is a scavenger, circling the sacred with cameras in tow, draped in designer grief and counterfeit empathy. She turns every solemn tribute into a photo opportunity, every scar into a set piece. This woman would not know sacrifice if it bled out in front of her. And as for Harry, he had once earned our respect, but he sold it for a docu-series and a podcast that even Spotify couldn't stomach. Harry abandoned his regiment, his family, his queen, then came crawling back to the very veterans he left behind, hoping their heroism might cover the stench of his cowardice. But the veterans see through him now. He is no brother in arms. He's a cautionary tale. The games were built by warriors, forged in agony, sanctified by those who suffered beyond imagining. They are not a red carpet for grifters, nor a stage for Meghan's endless performance of self-infatuation. I think that is, in a nutshell, how we all feel. I think the biggest question is whether Harry can or will eventually see and understand the price he is paying for a woman who, according to him, cannot even be faithful to him. But it is not just the wife, is it? Harry himself is going along with it. Like the Major said, it was Harry who abandoned his men, his queen, his country, his family, and not Meghan. But you see, unlike Andrew, who had all his titles stripped for allegedly sleeping with a teenage girl over the age of consent, and Andrew, who had dubious financial deals, but nothing criminal yet. Okay, I'm not saying it's not coming, I'm saying yet. Harry, on the other hand, has committed various acts of treason. Number one, in Spare and Oprah interviews, Harry, now forget about Meghan for a while, okay? Harry accused his parents and grandparents of generational abuse and emotional neglect. He's also supporting and sharing the theory that members of the royal family plotted to kill Diana. To attack the spouse of a monarch is also considered treason. So what he said about Camilla, who is now, whether we like it or not, is the Queen Consort, should be seen as treason. And remember how Harry accused Camilla of plotting and scheming to become Charles's wife. I can hear the argument coming. Oh, but it was more about Andrew and his dubious financial dealings. Well, what about Sussex Royal becoming MWX Foundation and then liquidated before accounts had to be filed? Do you guys remember that? Well, you can go back to a video that I made in 2021 with the help of a chartered accountant, and I will tell you all of that, okay? Now, remember his charity Centre Bali. There are a number of other questions and issues regarding Harry, Meghan, and Archibald. Amounts to be filed 1 year only gets filed the next year after it was picked up in the previous year, and than just deemed to be a mistake. But again, I'm going to ask about Sentabali. Has anyone looked at the year 2024's financial report, which was released in October 2025? It states how some of the charity's funds were lost, in inverted commas, due to the actions of a patron, and how misinformation by the former patron and the board has damaged the charity, which led to a loss of donations. This former patron used charity funds for legal fees. The patron also overstepped his role and altered a polo match into a commercial venture, namely a Netflix documentary. Well, I'm not going to go on and on and on and on about this, but if you are about to ask, how could this possibly happen? Easy. The majority of the board are friends, or were friends, of Harry's. So how could Harry not be stripped? Because how many other shady dealings must a royal have before a line is drawn? The institution, when do they normally go and say enough is enough? And when we talk about girls and young women, the difference between Harry and Andrew is that Andrew's conduct, or alleged conduct, was allowed to be exposed, while Harry's are still being hidden under one of the rugs in Buckingham Palace. From a teenage girl leaving Harry's room after spending the night with him, to a 2015 article alleging that Harry made a 19-year-old a one-night stand pregnant, to him becoming aggressive with ladies of the night. Somewhere among all these stories, it is likely that at least one could or would or should be true. Remember Harry's naked pictures in Vegas? How is Harry's past conduct less concerning than Andrew's past conduct? You know, that is all I'm saying. I'm not protecting anyone, definitely not Andrew, not Sarah, nor anyone else. All I have been saying is that I want all of this dealt with equally. Equally. What is good for the goose is good for the gander, and I want it dealt with openly, publicly, and lawfully for once. All these elite circles and their debauchery should stop or be stopped. Our children and young people are at risk. Where does Meghan go? We've just spoken about that article. She goes to talk to 11 and 12-year-olds. Why? Why? There was an educator presenting a program to these children. Why was Meghan there? To ask the girl whether she's worried about her nails? No, it is not kosher, and they should not be dealing with children under such dubious circumstances. And like I said, our children and young people are at risk, not only by illegals, but also from the entitled elite, it appears, or some of them. Like Andrew, like Harry, like Charles. Why are taxpayers paying for MI5, MI6, Scotland Yard, Metropolitan Police? People should be doing their jobs. Launch whatever investigation they can and protect the people who are paying them. The royal family has not always been good for the health of the people. They had been feudal landlords, they had murdered and plundered all over the world. But we are not living in the Middle Ages anymore, and the old blood had been thinned by new blood. So there is no reason why one should not expect kindness and honesty from the new royal family, or the modern royal family. Okay, guys and girls, I've skipped a lot of things today, but I'll give you or bring you a nice long video over the weekend. So until we meet again on that one, please take good care of yourselves. Bye.